Dear friends, welcome once again to my channel where I share the most practical, easy to understand health information for those who are entering their 60s and beyond. I am a cardiologist with over 20 years of experience working with older adults across the United States. And today, I want to invite you to join me on a journey into a very real and very common story, one that is quietly threatening the hearts of millions of seniors every single day. A story that I believe, if you listen until the end, could help save your heart or the heart of someone you love. Have you ever felt tired even though you eat well, sleep early, and do not have any obvious illness? Have you ever wondered why some older adults suffer heart attacks even when their blood pressure has been completely normal? According to the American Heart Association, more than 70% of heart-related deaths after age 60 are linked to one simple daily habit, a habit that very few people pay attention to. So what is this habit, and how can you start preventing it today? Please stay with me until the end of this video, because this is not just a warning. It is a path toward lifestyle change so your heart can stay strong and healthy as the years go by. The silent habits that harm the heart. 1. Skipping daily physical activity. After the age of 60, your body may no longer be as flexible as before, but that does not mean you should sit still all day. Not moving regularly is one of the most common mistakes I see in older patients, and also one of the silent causes that gradually weakens your heart. Many people believe that simply avoiding exertion and keeping a slow pace is good enough for their heart. But the truth is exactly the opposite. The heart needs gentle, daily exercise to maintain endurance and steady function. You do not need to go to the gym, run, or lift weights. Just walking for 30 minutes a day, divided into a morning and afternoon session, can reduce your risk of heart attack by nearly 50%. According to research from Harvard University, when you sit for long periods, your blood flow slows down, fat begins to build up in the bloodstream, and your arteries slowly narrow, forcing the heart to work harder to pump blood. If this continues every day for months, your blood pressure will rise without you even noticing. I have a patient named Mrs. Doris, 74 years old, living in Fresno, California, before being diagnosed with mild heart failure. She believed that resting more was good for her. It was not until she noticed slight swelling in her legs and fatigue after climbing just a few stairs that she came in for a checkup. After starting a habit of walking in the park every afternoon and doing light gardening in the mornings, her heart condition improved noticeably within just 3 months. Her blood pressure became more stable, and she felt much more energetic. Start with small steps. Walk around your yard, climb a few stairs, or simply stand up and move after each hour of watching television. As long as you do not sit still for too long, your heart will continue to be energized. 2. Eating salty foods regularly. Salt does not only come from the shaker on your dining table, it hides in foods that seem harmless, like bread, canned soup, cheese, deli meats, and even salty crackers. Excess sodium causes the body to retain water, increases blood volume, and forces the heart to work harder. This puts pressure on the artery walls, raises blood pressure, and can lead to heart failure or stroke. Older adults should consume no more than 500 milligrams of sodium per day, which is less than 1 teaspoon of salt. But in reality, most Americans consume 2 to 3 times that amount daily, mostly due to processed foods and the habit of seasoning meals heavily. I once treated Mr. Walter, 66 years old, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He did not eat fried foods, but every night he had a sandwich with ham and pickles. That one dinner alone contained nearly 2,000 milligrams of sodium. After a few years, he was diagnosed with stage 2 hypertension and needed a combination of 2 medications just to keep it under control. The solution is not too complicated. Read food labels carefully. Choose products labeled low sodium or no added salt. Use herbs, lemon, or vinegar as substitutes when cooking. According to the National Institute of Nutrition, after just 2 weeks of eating low-sodium meals, your taste buds will adjust and start to recognize the natural flavor of food. 3. Greasy breakfasts. Breakfast should be the time when your body receives clean, healthy energy, but many older adults start their day with bacon, sausage, fried eggs, buttered toast, and coffee loaded with cream and sugar. These foods may be convenient and familiar, but they are high in saturated fat and trans fat, which inflamed the blood vessels and led to plaque buildup. According to the American Heart Association, most heart attacks occur in the morning, especially after a high-fat breakfast. This is because blood tends to be thicker in the morning. When you eat greasy foods, your heart must pump harder to support digestion, causing a sudden rise in pressure. If you have ever felt mild chest discomfort after breakfast or fatigue by midday, take a closer look at your morning meals. Try switching to oatmeal, whole grain bread, fresh fruits, low-fat milk, or vegetable smoothies. These choices provide steady energy and help your heart work more smoothly throughout the day. 4. Drinking alcohol daily. Many people still believe that a glass of wine is good for the heart, but after the age of 60, the body processes alcohol more slowly, the liver becomes weaker, and even a small amount can lead to irregular heartbeat, high blood pressure, and thickening of the heart muscle. I have seen many older patients who drank just 2 glasses each night to sleep better, but after a few years were hospitalized for heart failure or unexplained atrial fibrillation. Alcohol also causes sleep disruption and triggers the adrenal glands to release cortisol, the stress hormone, for those with existing heart conditions. Every drink adds stress to the circulatory system, and even worse. Alcohol is often consumed with salty or fatty foods, which further increases the risk of stroke. If you truly wish to drink alcohol, limit it to 1 small glass, avoid daily drinking, and do not drink in the evening. But if you have a history of high blood pressure, diabetes, or heart disease, it is best to avoid alcohol altogether. Your heart cannot speak in words, but it will speak through pain, and by then, it might be too late. Holding in stress. There is something many people overlook. Emotions directly affect the heart when you feel prolonged sadness, anger, or anxiety. Your body releases adrenaline and cortisol, 2 hormones that cause blood vessels to tighten, the heart to beat faster, and blood pressure to rise. If this happens often, your risk of stroke, heart attack, or heart failure increases, even if you eat well and stay active. I remember a woman named Grace, 70 years old, living in Pittsburgh. She lost her husband more than 5 years ago and lived alone. She always kept her sadness to herself because she did not want to burden her children, even though her regular health checkups showed no issues. One evening, she suddenly collapsed and was diagnosed with broken heart syndrome, a type of acute heart failure caused by emotional trauma. Fortunately, she recovered, but her case is a clear warning. Learn to express your feelings. Talk to your loved ones. Join community groups. Meditate for 10 minutes each day. Or keep a journal, whatever helps lighten your heart. Bottled up emotions do not just hurt the mind, they damage the heart. According to the McMaster Institute for Medical Research, regularly releasing emotional stress can reduce the risk of heart events by 23% in people over 60. The worst habit and what you need to change immediately. 6. Ignoring snoring and sleep disorders. For many older adults, snoring at night is a familiar thing, sometimes even seen as normal. But from the perspective of a heart specialist, I must emphasize that loud snoring, especially when paired with interrupted breathing, is a sign of sleep apnea, a condition that can seriously damage the heart if not detected early. When breathing stops during the night, the brain and heart are deprived of oxygen. This leads to elevated nighttime blood pressure, irregular heartbeat, and an increased risk of heart failure. Many patients I meet tell me they sleep 7 to 8 hours a night but still wake up feeling tired, forgetful, or irritable, all of which are consequences of sleep being disrupted by apnea. A study from Johns Hopkins University found that people with sleep apnea have 3 times the risk of heart attack compared to those without the condition. Dr. Charles in Miami, Florida, age 68, used to think his snoring was just a part of aging, but after being evaluated at a sleep lab, he was diagnosed with mild sleep apnea and began using a CPAP machine to support his breathing during sleep. Within a few weeks, his fatigue disappeared and his blood pressure became noticeably more stable. If you often wake up during the night, still feel tired in the morning, or are told that you snore loudly, take the initiative to check your sleep health. Do not ignore the snoring, it could be a warning from your heart. 7. Exposure to cigarette smoke, even indirectly. Many older adults have quit smoking for years, but they are still regularly exposed to smoke from family members, neighbors, or public places. unfortunately. Secondhand smoke is just as harmful as smoking directly, especially for hearts that are already weakening with age. Cigarette smoke contains more than 7,000 chemicals, including at least 70 known to cause cancer and many that inflame blood vessels. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC), just 30 minutes of exposure is enough to constrict arteries, reduce blood flow, and increase heart rate. I once treated Mrs. Helen, 72 years old, living in Houston. She never smoked, but she lived with her husband who smoked a pack a day for 40 years. She developed coronary artery disease, even though all her other health markers were normal. It was the cigarette smoke in her home that had silently poisoned her heart over the years. If you do not smoke, speak up and ask for a smoke-free home. If a family member smokes, encourage them to smoke outside, wear a separate jacket, and wash their hands afterward. Your heart deserves to breathe clean air every single day. 8. Watching phones or TV at night. Do you have a habit of watching the late-night news or scrolling through your phone before bed? It may seem harmless, but it actually disrupts your body's natural biological rhythm, and this can be especially dangerous for older adults. The blue light from screens blocks the production of melatonin, the hormone that makes you feel sleepy. This makes it harder to fall asleep, leads to lighter sleep, and prevents your heart from getting the rest it needs to recover. In addition to the light, the content on the screen, such as negative news, social media, or movies, can stimulate the nervous system, increase adrenaline, and raise your heart rate at night. A study from the University of California found that older adults who use their phones after 9 p.m. had a 17% higher risk of elevated blood pressure compared to those who turned off their devices earlier. Mrs. Louise, 69 years old, in Seattle, used to think of her television as a companion that helped her feel less lonely. But after months of poor sleep, rapid heartbeat, and morning fatigue, she tried turning off the TV an hour before bedtime. She replaced it with soft music and reading after just 2 weeks. Her sleep improved noticeably, and she felt more refreshed. Start a habit of screen-free sleep. Keep your phone away from the bed. Turn off the TV at least 1 hour before sleeping. Instead, listen to calming music, read a book, or simply sit quietly and breathe deeply so your heart can rest fully through the night. 9. Eating fried and fast food regularly. Have you ever ordered fried chicken, French fries, or a hot dog because it was simple, quick, and easy? For people over 60, these meals may seem convenient, but they are actually a silent burden weighing down the heart every single day. Fast food is high in trans fat, saturated fat, and sodium, the 3 major enemies of heart health. These substances inflame the blood vessels, cause fat buildup, and thicken the blood, increasing the risk of blockage and stroke. According to the American Heart Association, if you eat fried food daily, your heart works twice as hard as someone who follows a healthy diet. Mr. Joseph, 70 years old, from Kansas City, used to have a sandwich at the local shop every afternoon because he did not want to cook. But after being diagnosed with high blood pressure and high cholesterol, he switched to preparing simple meals at home: vegetable soup, steamed fish, boiled beans, and fresh fruit. After just 4 months, his heart health markers returned to normal, and he saved nearly $200 each month. Take a closer look at your daily meals. If there is fried food, replace it with baked, steamed, or boiled options. If you prefer eating out, choose a salad, low-sodium soup, or a sandwich made with whole grain bread and leafy greens. Food is fuel for your heart. Do not add more fat and salt to a heart that is already working hard. 10. Stopping blood pressure medication when you feel fine. This is the most dangerous habit I have seen in older adults. Many patients, after a few months of taking blood pressure medicine, see their numbers return to normal and then stop on their own or take the pills inconsistently. But the truth is, high blood pressure is a chronic condition. It has no obvious symptoms, but silently damages the heart, kidneys, and brain every day. When you suddenly stop taking your medication, blood pressure can spike, causing plaque in the arteries to rupture and leading to a heart attack or stroke. According to the National Heart Institute, more than 35% of strokes in people over 60 are linked to not taking blood pressure medication properly. I remember Mr. Samuel, 73 years old, from Denver. He stopped taking his blood pressure medicine for 2 weeks because he felt fine. He suffered a mild stroke and needed 6 months of rehabilitation. Since then, He has used a pill organizer, set a morning alarm, and has never missed a dose again. If you are taking medication, stick to the correct time and dose. If you feel dizzy, tired, or uncomfortable, speak to your doctor to make adjustments. Do not stop on your own. Medicine is not a punishment. It is a silent protector of your heart. Dear friend, throughout this journey, we have explored 10 habits that may seem harmless but silently harm the heart each day. From sitting too long without moving, eating salty foods out of old habit, skipping sleep, ignoring blood pressure, to simply holding on to worries, all of these are like small bricks building up a larger risk. As a doctor who has spent a lifetime working with heart patients, I understand that change is never easy, especially after the age of 60. But I also know that if you begin with just one small thing, a short walk, a healthy meal, a pill taken on time, your heart will notice and respond. It does not ask for perfection. It only needs steady, sincere care each day. You do not need to change everything overnight. Just choose one habit to adjust starting today, and you are already halfway there. Begin with the simplest thing, a 15-minute walk each morning, or turning off your phone 1 hour before bed. Your heart will thank you. If you found today's message helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so we can continue to support you on your journey to better health. In upcoming videos, we will share heart-friendly diets, gentle exercises, and tips for improving sleep in later life. Please leave a comment and let us know which habit do you want to change first. And remember, it is never too late to care for your heart, especially when you start today.